The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax. The stream is coming back. Grab your brush and just relax.
Double audio.
Anytime priming, Zenny highlighting, money wash glossing, dries perfect timing. Favorite color missing, guess I gotta mix it. This color's way too shiny, matte varnishing. Come and take a listen to this paint vision. Arthur's on the couch, dreaming of commissions. Don't drink the paint water, it might blur your vision.
Alright, so today we are just checking to see if my connection at all is a real thing. Yesterday, obviously, my connection was dying, like that guy was still out there. I don't know if he fixed anything. I don't know what the deal is, but it was shady. So here we are today. It is what it is, but that's all it is. I just want to test the connection. So I'll be monitoring that, and yeah, that's it. So, anywho, that's really all I'm watching. So today we're working on this CAV Strike Ops little group that I've got going on. They're essentially all in various stages of they're all like base coated and weathered, and then I'm just working on details, and like what I'm going to be working on right now is cleaning up the cockpits and everything. I did masking fluid, airbrushed them a little bit, cleaned up the edges a little bit, and then we're just refining that further. So that's all it is for today. Yesterday I got those like 100 whatever orc guys based and ready to go. Actually, oh, I just dropped my phone. In case you were wondering what they look like when they're done, so here's an example of one of them. But so, as I was showing you guys yesterday, right, with the, taking advantage of the zenithal, of course I just got white paint on that miniature, so let me adjust how I'm holding that. So, applying this plus a wash, so this guy just has a wash applied. You can tell the pre-shading that's there from the zenithal, so what I would need to do is highlight up his clothes and his skin, which is what you see on this guy. So, for batch painting, it's really good. I won't be working on I'm either working on something else today or these, I forget which, but not bad for being able to do like 100 in a day. So but all right, anyway, working on highlighting these up. Doing what I did previously as well, we're going to work it all the way up to white and then glaze on top. But, so I have my first game this Saturday. And it'd be nice if I could have my little 2,500 points painted. But if I have to play with them in the stage they're in right now, it's all good. Partially painted is better than unpainted. Let's see, we'll kill that real quick. Oh, so the idea with these two was that I literally paint the CAVs cavalry brown. Changed my mind from the green that I was doing. I'm also going to do forced perspective shadow on pretty much all the bottoms. So, but what I was figuring was that I would paint them all cavalry brown and just have it be a big joke. So Seemed like a good idea at the time. So remember, everything we're doing right now gets painted over. I'll show you here in just a second too what the final result will look like, because we'll do a test on this, and then we'll move through the other. I think there are 4 cockpits total, so not a lot of work to do. Just a little bit of work. But I think that's close to what I'm looking for. Brighten it up a little bit further. Alrighty. So in general, though, we've got all of the rough work done on these guys. So we got 2 of these wyverns, which is what like this model is called, as a wyvern. These are Commander 2 tanks. We've got 2 of those, 2 dragonflies, which are these bad boy planes, and then a dervish, and then I'm also gonna have a secondary dervish, but it's like a custom one. But, alrighty, so now we're going to take this, wait a minute, I wanted the fluorescent. Where's that? I was walking around with a fluorescent orange that oh, wow, okay, it's literally right in front of me, as usual. Alright, so straight out of the pot, this fluorescent color is crazy. And I should just be able to glaze it right on top without issue. So it's also why I had that warmer color underneath to help sort of increase the orange feel as it sort of dries on top.
What about half the time I teach you about this George Washington commercial? The other half.
Do let me know as well how the connection's been this morning. That's really the only reason why I'm streaming. Just to test that out. According to my stats, it's not terrible today, so. So, we'll let that application dry. I'm relatively pleased with it. I'll show you sort of the full idea here. I'll do the edges and everything on this guy. Oh, I actually need to be careful here. There's some of that color wet on top. And I definitely don't want this to flood, so... which it's trying to do a little bit. Also, this brush is a little bit beat right now, so it's not working that well. Definitely need to clean it out. I think that's why I like this Cavalry Brown so much as well, is that it dries so close to the new money wash that I've been using that it's just so subtle of a highlight. And then that way I can use Reaper Rust Brown as the edgework color, and it'll be super subtle too. So while it's still very illustrative in terms of the brushwork, the tonal difference will be relatively close. So as that color's drying though, I'm relatively pleased with it. It does take a while to dry, I've noticed too, the fluorescent stuff. But the final effect is pretty nice. So again, that was highlighted up from that color. Definitely want it to sort of appear like it's glowing from the inside. Let me get the Rust Brown out too. So you can see on the edges that color is super subtle, but it is what I was wanting. It's like the perfect highlight color for Cavalry Brown. Perfect. Luckily, these aren't too much line work to go through and do. I don't really have any that are going to be a ton, which is nice. Now, obviously, if I expand my stuff and continue with it, I'll have to do more and more edge work as the time goes on, but yeah, it's perfect. Super easy. Not a ton of work. Alright, so now that we've let that fluorescent dry, it does dry shiny too, by the way, which does help a little bit, but I'm going to shake the bottle even more. Actually, I'm going to roll it because it's too full to shake. Arthur says hello on the couch. You can see him right there. He's taking a shower, so don't watch, but Arthur. You saying hi? He's like, maybe. Alright. So I'm gonna get more of this out on the palette. There we go. I had to like get a ton out to actually get the fluorescent pigment. There it is. So we'll just pretend like I didn't have to waste all that paint, but... Alright, let's continue to push our highlighting. So, wank. Alright, so let's go ahead and mask over that. Or not mask, sorry, but... You know what I'm saying. The second coat will get us a much brighter color here. In terms of fluorescency, see, you can tell. So now instead of white, I'm going to use yellow. Only because I want it to pop, and I'm only going to use it sort of in the, sort of like the brightest portions or whatever. And this is like super crazy bright yellow. So again, just using the yellow to intensify the nature of that fluorescent color, we've got it pretty well already, but I just want to try and push that color out further as we continue to just smooth out the transition. So nothing too crazy, but in the grand scheme of things, it is a cockpit that you're going to be looking at from, you know, 3 feet away from above, but you know. Alright, so these right here. Alright, so now I'm going to go back. Fluorescent colors again. Directly on top. There we go. So all that yellow now is directly fluorescent orange, as we get all the tonal differences that we got in there previously. And then obviously too, whenever I hit it with the clear coat or the matte coat, all that shine will go away and we'll just be left with that really cool reflective transition. Clean that up right there. Good enough for me. Alright, so comparing the two. Obviously we've got a nice color work transition there. So we'll do the same things that we did here. As I get a bunch of that cavalry brown all over my finger. Or rust brown, I should say. Sorry. What we're doing with the white, if you're just now joining, is just baking in the areas that I want to be much brighter. When we start to lay on the fluorescent. This guy has more cleanup required than the others previously from the masking fluid that I applied, but should be okay. Good enough on that. Moving on to the others. This guy popped off his flight stand, but it's okay. See, that helps out too. Yeah, James, so all of them will have like the first letter of whatever the unit name is. So like these will be like D, you know, 7 and 8, since they're dragonflies. They'll all correspond to the name of the unit. And so like with these, right, they'll be in this little section, so it'll say like D whatever. Now I won't have another good area to put it really large. Obviously I put them on the kneecaps on those. But still should, you know, at least bring a cohesive feel. And then we have this little bit of cockpit area here. This one I'm doing in reverse just because it has literally everything blocking where that reflection would hit, so we'll just pretend that it's a reverse reflection like that. Should work. Alright, so, now then. It's so funny, I keep getting notifications. I forget in what group exactly, but somebody shared this, like, 5th edition gunslinger class or something they made for D&D. And so I made, you know, I always make anytime I see somebody, like, bringing guns into D&D, which is more of a newer thing, like, they've always sort of existed, but they've never been a focus like they have because of the dudes from Critical Role or whatever. And it's so funny because all you have to do is just make a comment about, like, guns in D&D, and then all the gun nut dudes just come flying after you. So I was like, yeah, guns in D&D are like cats in water, and all these guys are like, I don't know why you would have a problem with this weapon, it's a fantasy setting. Alright, you weirdos, that's fine. But they just can't control themselves at all, they just freak out on you. They're like, oh, we're gonna go fight an undead lich. Time to use my weapon. Time to pull out some bullets. Like, oh, okay. Good luck. But yeah, I'm not a fan of, I really don't like the fact that, because, like, look, Critical Role's cool and everything, but, I watched every single episode I've seen up to the new season, like the newest campaign, and then, I'm just behind probably, like, I don't even know, man, 5, 10. But what's funny is, like, I just don't appreciate the fact that Wizards of the Coast was like, oh, okay, we're gonna, like, literally change the entire sort of lore of this thing that we've been running forever to fit this soap opera. So I just think it's funny that they're like, yeah, no, these Critical Role stuff, this is all canon now in D&D. Like, ugh, alright. I guess that's fine, but it is pretty whack. Just to make money. Which is a hot take, I know. Because Critical Role people are, you know, obsessed, but I don't really care. So, applying it on the last cockpit here. This, of course, is just like our first application. But it's great because it does leave the white underneath, which is what we want. Alright, so I think what we did next was another run of white on the cockpit, so we'll do that again. We do need to let it dry a minute though. What's interesting about the fluorescent stuff is that it's like glossy, so if I'm using super thin paint like I traditionally do, it just doesn't work as well. Just not as well.
Trying new things for the sake of experience. I'm looking around and seeing more dry up in than actual dancing. Like, dude, are they serious? Now, I'm not trying to seem like I'm better than anybody here. Let me make that clear. But I honestly would rather be at a jazz club or just a less raunchy bra shaking naked club. Man, these ladies are wearing practically nothing. Thought I'm so big, looking like two punk. It's very
A chew.
but I'd rather not even try.
A chew.
That's it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to secretly shame my client into taking photos for me. But yeah, you'll notice the big Age of Sigmar commission that I shared stuff for. That gig has been going on. So what you're seeing is portions from an old part of the commission that was done months and months ago. And he used them for a tournament. He had like a beautiful display board he had built, or I think he built the display board, and then I forget exactly everything else. And then he had like custom bases made and all this stuff, but he never took photos. And I can't really take photos of miniatures that don't have bases, so because it's like impossible to stand them up, unfortunately. So he had said he would take photos, and then there never were photos. So I was kind of like, well, I want to, I wish I could get photos of him. It's all right if not. You guys would be amazed at how many clients are like, oh, I'm gonna send you pictures of everything on the table, blah 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 blah, and then never hear from them again. They're just like, I got busy. It's not a big deal though. But for that commission, that was like my, I rarely do Age of Sigmar stuff. And so since that commission was like all non-metallic metal and like really beautiful and had a display board, that's why I wanted to see him. But it's okay. As long as he didn't enter him into a painting contest anywhere. That's why I shared those photos too. Just to sort of be like, has anyone seen this anywhere? Like Adepticon maybe entered into anything? Because I would hope not. But I do know that happens with some people that get stuff done. They'll just pretend that it's theirs. Not saying that that's what this client would do. He's not like that at all. For sure. But that's one reason why sometimes you don't see, people don't share images, is because they have ulterior motifs. Or, like what happened to me recently as well, you have a client that takes what I paint for them and then immediately puts it on eBay saying that they painted it. That was really cool. And in that instance, there isn't much you can do as a painter other than just report them to eBay saying that it's false advertising. And it's nice because I had photos and streams and the invoice and everything, screenshots of the conversation. So on that end, yeah, like I will, if you're gonna lie about something that I've done for you, I'm definitely going to come after you. Not for money or anything, but I'm just gonna make sure you can't lie to other people. Alright, so we have those. Alright, so we just have this little dude. I'm gonna end up cleaning these edges right here anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and slam it because it's such a small area. I don't really care. Alright, so now, coat number 2. Morning, Chris. All right, so speaking of commission stuff, I had somebody reach out and they hadn't read any of my pricing page or anything like that. They sent me just a generic message, which, as most of you know, will get you absolutely nowhere with me. Like, if we're going to work together, you should probably take the 10 minutes or less that it takes to read all my info before expecting me to do hours and hours and hours of work. So, you know, I replied back. I was like, yeah, just check out, you know, my pricing page, whatever, and then let me know what you want. So then he comes back and he wants, which is cool, he wanted Wheeler for a huge commission. It would have been, I don't know, I think it was like $2 or $3 grand. And he came, you know, and I was like, all right, so here's how much it would cost. You know, I think I was running a special, and I'm like, you know, here's this little special that I can do on top. But I am booked until September, so, you know, some early to mid-September is when you could hopefully, you know, probably see all this stuff completed. And he sent back LOL. He's like, yeah, no, I need this in 2 weeks. And I'm like, all right, well, good luck, dude. I don't know of any painters, like, if you're needing a commission and you need it done super fast, that you're definitely not going to be able to do it with a, you know, somebody that does it full time, because they are not able to survive by not being fully booked. So, but I just thought that was funny that the expectation was you can get my best work on like 80 miniatures in 2 weeks. Definitely not how that goes. So I'm gonna check out my stream stats. One thing I noticed too, I was getting interference from Twitch, so I think I'm just done with Twitch. That is a dead platform for me. It does absolutely nothing. I don't need to make money off Twitch, so who cares? Let's see. Let's look at the connection info here today. So we have lost 0.9% of the entire stream, so I think we're doing okay. I would say that's a decent amount. All right, so after this after this application, we'll go back, throw on some yellow, and that should be the final one. Now, I may actually darken some of the spots, but we're not going to worry about that currently right now. We're just going to continuing on. So that's cool. I do like how bright it is. And again, you guys are seeing like double reflections because it is reflective. But you can sort of see right here, right, the actual reflections that are baked in. This one's really cool because it's subtle as it comes through. This one too, it's very subtle as it comes through. But this may be dry. Yep, it's dry. All right, so now we're gonna throw on some yellow. Very nice, very nice. Man, my lungs today, I woke up wheezing and coughing up nastiness because of how much airbrushing I did yesterday. That's why I always get upset whenever I see some dum-dum online saying that you don't need to wear a respirator while you're airbrushing. You absolutely do, and even with a respirator, you're probably still going to notice some problems if you're doing an insane amount of airbrush work. even with a vent, I run into problems, so. But yeah, anytime I see somebody saying that, I'm like, oh my god, no, you absolutely, without a doubt, need to wear a respirator. Even if you can't afford an expensive mask, which, by the way, an expensive one's like $30, and if you're already dropping hundreds on an airbrush, then you should expect to spend extra on that. But even if you can't spend a lot, you can still get one for like $10 on Amazon, a cheap one, so. But yeah, anytime I see somebody doing it without one, I'm like, ugh, what are you doing to your health? Don't do it. You're essentially just getting smoker's lungs in rainbow colors, you know? Or in primer black, if that's all you use your airbrush for. Alright, so, pretty quick. Let's do this guy. Application needs to be super quick. Cool, I like that. Super saturated too. I mean, it really is fluorescent. I don't know how well the camera necessarily picks up on that fact, obviously, because anytime you get super saturation like that on an auto white balance thing, it's always tricky. But whenever I take some real photos of these, it'll really pop. I mean, it's like a crazy orange, super bright. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. I really like the way this one turned out. Reflection on it's great. Boom, 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 boom. So, anywho, I don't really necessarily have anything exciting that I'm trying to finish right now other than that gigantic commission. Taking a break from it today, though. I have a lot more airbrushing to do for that project, so I'm just going to have to take a day off because, yeah, I'm not trying to get sick, and I will get sick between my allergies, sinuses, and all that, plus having paint in my lungs. So typically takes about a day, 2 days to clear out. And since I was coughing a bunch of the airbrush love out of my lungs this morning, should be good. And if you do airbrush a bunch of stuff, like really what I notice is it just messes up like my nose. One thing that does help if you get a ginger shot the next day, it might make you throw up if you're like sensitive to a bunch of acid, but okay. So, I don't know what I want to do next. I don't even know what time it is. I don't know where my phone is. My phone is on the ground. It's 10:30. All right. So again, if you're just now joining, really I'm only streaming today just because I wanted to test my connection, and it appears the connection is okay. Doesn't seem like too much of a problem. Hey, wait a minute. I missed all the messages that Anthony put of the thing. So everybody go look at that. Hold on. So if you look at the post, wait a minute. I thought he did. Wait a minute. On my phone it says. Where did he comment these photos? Hold on. Oh, he's sharing them underneath. Okay, hold on. This is funny. All right, so he did comment them an hour ago, just not on the main post. Hold on. This is oh my god, I just got that all over the paint. 1 second. This is exciting for me just because I haven't seen the photos, and I'm gonna repost them. There they are. Oh, do I really have to do this for each one? All right, hold on, guys. That's great. I never saw them together. Oh my gosh, yay! How exciting. I'm so happy about this. All right, let me go ahead. Sorry. I know I'm doing this while I'm streaming, but bear with me because I've been dying to see these photos. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna shift all these photos to the front. Thank you, Anthony, finally. They actually look really great with the basing finish and everything. So what I'm doing right now is I'm editing that main post, so just give me 2 shakes of a stick here. Oh, they look awesome on that board. That's the thing, right? With games, so like with D&D minis or whatever, or even board game minis, it's never that impressive, right? Because you're just using them on a 2D surface, like who cares? But with these war games and everything, if you have someone that actually really cares about the display of them and everything like that, when you see them on a table, it's super impressive. So, but I'm almost done, and then you guys can hop back over and look at that. I'm putting them directly like on the top of the post. So there you go. All right, so that is now edited. You guys can see those photos. First time I've seen them either. It looks great, like looks super killer. All right, there they are. So look at how awesome it looks. I love it. The bases look great. The coloring looks great. Super awesome. Thank you, Anthony, for the pictures. Mucho apreciado. All right, we're back. We're back on the stream. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying for you. All right, so do go check that out, though. Very happy with that. All right, so what I'm going to fix really quick is sort of everything that got messed up from that masking coat that I did. So, I'm so happy I got to see those photos, though. You guys have no idea. Anytime I get to see a photo of finished stuff from a client, I'm just like, ah, yay. Because no one ever does it. I don't know why. It's funny. So, other than Anthony right now sharing those photos, seriously, if I go back and think about it, I have worked with like 200 people, and out of that, I think I've only ever seen sort of like in the field photos of maybe 4 to 5 of my clients ever. Sometimes they'll send me photos just like showing me that they arrived safely. Like they'll send a picture of like a box or something, but very, very, very rarely do I ever get to be like, ah, there is exactly what I worked on, and they look great. I had one Scythe client send me some really cool photos of them, like actually high quality photos of them. I don't remember if I shared that though. That is something I should probably share just because it looks good. It doesn't look like there was too much cleanup needed on some of these. it's interesting working on like nothing but vehicles like this because it's not something you typically do. James, who I'm playing with on Saturday, who's probably literally going to just destroy me, obviously, he was saying kind of how he felt like his CAVs were a little bit too uniform feeling. And like I felt the same way too. Obviously adding, paint and random stuff like that will help. Like paint isn't on the minis themselves, like they've been painted with cool like markings and stuff. Obviously that helps break them apart, but I think the main issue is that as a painter who does like not a lot of technical or mechanical painting on things, I'm used to a ton of natural variants in paint jobs, so I'm not like my eye isn't trained to be like, right, these are all a bunch of the same thing that are similar, that are in a unit, they're made, man-made, machine-made, whatever, they're very precise, so it's really not that weird that they all look the same, right? So I think that's one thing that I've been noticing here too, is I'm like, well, how do I make them all look different? How do I add more variants? Like I'm always looking at them thinking they need more, but I think that's just a symptom of the type of game that it is and the type of painting that I'm used to. So, but I mean, I've tried. There's really so much you can do with these, and I mean, essentially without going insane, there is sort of like a threshold of as much different variants as you can put in, and then if you're using metallic paint, that sort of limits you in certain areas. Definitely interesting from a painting perspective. So. And then that's the thing too, if you've never painted up a mech mini before, these aren't very expensive. So I would suggest checking out Talon Games. Check out their website, buy something. Or if you want, I mean the starter bundle I believe is like 35 or 40 bucks. Comes with the rules, four CAVs that you can use. Which honestly, if I remember correctly, that pricing is like, it's essentially as if you're getting either the CAVs free or the rules free. So either way, it's a super awesome value. Which is good. What's funny about CAV is like the price isn't bad at all. So, I mean, $30 gets you like a 2,500 point list sometimes, depending on the mechs you want to run, or even 30 bucks could get you 5,000 points depending on what you're buying, which 5,000 from what I understand is a decent sized game. 25 is a like quick game, maybe not quick, just smaller, I don't know, but that's sort of the 2-point values I've been discussing more than others. So I do think the backer kit's closed now for their last Kickstarter. I could be wrong though. I probably am wrong. I know it was closing relatively soon the last time I was looking at it, but unfortunately I missed out. I was hoping to get like, a solid 5k points for like 30 bucks off the Kickstarter pricing, but I don't think I got in time, so. What I'm saying is, I probably assumed that the late pledging was going on for longer than it really is, and so I think I missed out, but very typical for me. Oh, I don't know if you guys are keeping up either, so the Confrontation guys posted an update today. Miniature Market bought 400 of the full celebration sets of all the metal. And those are supposed to be like 500 bucks or something crazy, so glad everybody got in on that was able to. Even though I do understand maybe like 2% of the people that were upset about the metal because they're like, I already own everything in metal, but that is such a rare amount of people that would literally own the entire Rackham line. Like, that's crazy. There's one guy in there that's been running his mouth in the comments like, it's the end of the world, and he's like, you guys scammed me, and da-da-da-da. And he's talking about how he has like he has one of every single thing at least in metal, and then he also has like original artwork and unreleased green stuff, sculpts, and like essentially this is a dude that's like a collector, right? He's probably the only guy like that out in the world, but he's causing so much drama in their comments. It's hilarious. Which, having dealt with some really type A clients, I understand that some people, like, you will never be able to make them happy and they're just terrible human beings, but it is funny that guys like that are such a rarity, right? Like, who would own everything like that? That's crazy, including unreleased stuff. But he's acting like, you know, he's been ripped off and his life is ruined, so it's pretty funny. Alright, so we did all those cockpits, bada bing, bada boom. Cleaned it up a little bit. And of course, everything that you're seeing now, all of the like metal stuff that's dark charcoal gray with an ink hasn't been touched. Pretty much everything's dirty is the idea, except for the cockpits. The cockpits I just wanted to throw through today. Ah, there you go. It's still open until June 30th, says James, the man that would know. The man with the plano. Did you guys check out that post, by the way? Of all the guys on the table? Because it looks pretty good. Let's see. Okay, anywho, hopping back over here. So the 30th, well, I don't think that's gonna help me any. Sadly. I'm at the stage now with like all my projects that I literally know when I have money coming in and when I don't. It's like, oh, the 30th? Nah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to I don't think I can do anything. But it's alright. I mean, that's just more miniatures that I would disrespect by never having time to finish, so... Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. You know, one of the big things that I'm doing after I make the move is moving towards less commission work in general. So, you know, that means a lot more personal projects, putting together tutorials, things like that. So you may see just more personal work. So I still need to break these up the same way that I weathered on that one, but I at least need to just reapply. And then clean up some of the lettering here. Oh, look at that. I couldn't even see what I was cleaning up there. That's crazy. Not happy with this 2, but it reads as a 2, and that's good enough for me. As long as somebody that can see it from the tabletop is like, oh, that's a 2. I mean, I guess that works. A little bit wonky, but I think we'll stick with it. It's not the worst.
Can you answer the next series of questions without blinking your eyes? Without hesitation, answers. Sure.
Just weathering up this paint. I think it looks pretty good. Just going through adding some scritches.
Do you believe that God will save you from your own ridiculousness? No. Have you ever had intercourse with someone inside your family? Yes. Have you ever had intercourse with someone inside your family? Yes. Where's your mother? Infringement.
All right, so let's see how we're looking here. Pretty distressed, if I say so myself. I mean, pretty typical. Not too bad, not too bad. So, really the only other colors that I need to figure out what I want to do with, obviously. So any of the Cavalry Brown stuff is getting highlighted with Rust Brown from Reaper. So you can tell it's just a little bit lighter. Nothing too crazy. The ivory color that I have going on, this sand, arena sand, I think is what it's called or whatever, I do need to, because this is it highlighted up on this guy. I need to figure out exactly what I want to do with that. Maybe a pattern on, I don't know. It can't be anything too crazy. It doesn't look bad from table distance. With the blacks and the metallics, I just need to go back through with that coal color, clean it up, and then start doing edge work on it. Pretty typical stuff. Oh, big old Yeetosaurus Rex. Hold on. Oh my god, come on, dude. I do not have enough coffee in my system today. Signmar. Wait, no! Hold on. Is that even a word? Yep, okay. We're fine. We're always jumping around. Okay. I feel like this one isn't thick enough, but it's okay. Oh, look at that. The brush was not wet enough either. Cool. Dervish only has one little part right there in the front, and he's got this in the back, so we'll weather this out. Where did you come from? Do I have yellow on my finger? Why is no one being nice to me in the chat? I had yellow on my finger. That's fine. That's not much of a cleanup right there. That's just black paint. Yeah. Where'd I even get it? See, my problem, when I reach for paint, I'll touch, like, my pinky. You can see it right there, has yellow on it, right? I'll end up touching my pinky on the palette all the time. It's like I'm self-sabotaging. Just honestly pretty typical for me, but... Oh yeah, these guys have white too, alright.
It's the beat, I hear it in my sleep sometimes. Wear it in your Jeep so your beats can stare at the rhymes. Real rhymes, not your everyday hologram. Even when ribs is touching, never swallow the ham. You rather eat a sham.
Yeah, Reaper definitely was, I mean, so how can I put it gently? Origins is a very cool corporate-sponsored convention that obviously favors a couple companies other than others, so there you go. That's all we'll say about that. But not surprised to hear a lot of the complaints this year from Origins.
I guess it's better than some funky socks. You need to get her some skips before she catch the monkeypox. She wanna hear the beatbox, take pills and make fake grills to sheetrock. Sing it, bring it back to your laboratory. While he's in his oratory, glorious like a horror story. The mask is like Jason. He told the place not to let the basket type case in. He might be some type of wacko, looking for a chance to heat the pipes like a crack hole. He said, blessed be the Lord. We believe any mess they read up on a message board.
But yeah, there was no way that they would be there, given the environment, marketing-wise. Which is unfortunate, you know, I mean. Well, I mean, I was gonna say you would think it wouldn't happen in the hobby, but if you look at, so what's a really good example is like all the Comic Cons, right? Like the biggest, I remember last year people complaining a ton from New York Comic Con because there's like a Wells Fargo booth, right? Like, why would that be at a gaming convention slash like nerd culture convention type of thing? But a lot of what's happening now is these conventions are sort of getting co-opted, so, which is to be expected. It's fine, and I understand too. You know, you got to make a living for the people that run these conventions and things like that, and obviously corporate sponsorship is the way to go because they got the big bucks. But I only see it getting worse, unfortunately. It is only gonna get worse. Alright, so I'm happy with that weathering, I believe. Wait, these are chieftains? I thought these were commander 2s, bro. I thought chieftains were the other ones that I have that are like the more high-tech looking ones. I don't know. I could be wrong. I thought they were commanders. Maybe not. Yeah, CAV is definitely a good introductory hobby game for sure because the stuff is not hard to put together. The material's super forgiving. The cost of entry is relatively low. The community is like obsessed in a way that smaller, newer games are. Even though CAV has been around for a really long time, relatively speaking, like it's not a new thing. But the community itself is like still growing in a way that newer games are, which I think is always sort of the best time to get involved in a game. You know, it reminds me a lot of like when Infinity first came out, when I was living in Texas, and that got super popular and everybody was involved. And same thing with War Machine. War Machine got super popular when I was growing up in Texas, and so like everybody was super focused on growing it and like, you know, the direction of the game and everything like that. And so I feel like that's sort of similar with CAV, and that's why I like the whole vibe around it, because you really feel like if you have input in the game, you could probably get it across and it would make an impact if it was valid, right? Or just any ideas of improvement in general, exciting stuff, running events, like definitely not the same as other games that I collect or that I've been involved with in the past. So I forget what they call them, but I was one of the community people for CMON, that wants to be called Come On now, for Wrath of Kings, and in true Cool Mini or Not nature, they totally killed their own product with that, as they just didn't care about it anymore after the Kickstarter. But that was really the only other game that I've messed with that had that same sort of vibe from a community. But unfortunately, Cool Mini or Not just has zero product support for stuff that they put out, so they just didn't care. But now, of course, that I'm into CAV, I'm like too busy to do anything other than just paint. But, you know, it is what it is. Wank. Yeah, these will look cool. I have 4 of these total, but only 2 are getting paint currently. I should have like 10 of them, I feel like. Oh great, Kevin's here. We can start the day. Bleh. Yeah, cool. So, I don't know. Am I just supposed to like stream my entire day? We've been going for what, over an hour at this point? Have we been going over? Yeah, we've been going for over an hour. I got the little work done that I was hoping to get done anyway. Oh, check that out. Look, we got a Chancellor right here. Ayo. We got all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, if you want to see the money wash, this is the new money wash. It's really subtle. With that custom, that very exclusive custom artwork on the top. This is the face you make when you have money wash, because it makes everything better. Now check this out. Bum bum ba-dum bum. Ooh, ooh, look at how full it is. Ooh. Now then, this money wash is different obviously because it's not purple. Moved away from the purple in favor of a more utility application, but you can see here exactly how it applies. Smooth as butter. Look at that. And this is meant to be applied super thick. Because of the other products that are in there, it is a little bit deceptive in terms of coverage. So this is typically how much I would apply at a time. Now, this Chancellor, me applying this color doesn't matter at all because I'm going to airbrush him anyway, but just so you guys can get an idea of how well the money wash works. I know JV was like, you should see if you can partner with the company to make it, but what I use is an amalgam of like 5 different things, so from I think 4 different companies all together. So while it would be great if I could get them all to come together and make it in a mass quantity, there's no way that that's happening. But there is some secret stuff in here in terms of like fine art products that you wouldn't traditionally think to use. Cough, cough, cough. Cough, there's some oil in it, but don't worry about that. Not oil in terms of oil painting, though. We've got olive oil in here. Very, very high class. We also have some balsamic, so it's got a nice flavor profile. But anyway, so that's the new money wash that I've been using. Definitely a lifesaver. But you can see, super, super smooth. I mean, crazy smooth. In my typical style, it's got like perfect surface tension, which is exactly what you want at all times when you paint like myself. So I don't really have anything else I can put it on right here in front of me, so I don't really have a good example. Sorry about that. But yeah. So anyway, I'll call that good for today. I just wanted to test my connection, make sure I wasn't insane. We have only lost 0.4% of all the frames today, so even though I don't believe that my internet service provider actually fixed my issue, because that would just be out of character for them, maybe they did. So, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed what at first was a session in doing ultra bright reflective cockpits, that then just sort of devolved into all kinds of cool cleanup work and everything like that. But anyway, these guys are going to continue to get weathered and everything like that. So obviously the decals that were painted on these, decals, right, quote unquote, but the patterns that are on these and the lettering and everything is obviously weathered to the standard that everything else is going to be weathered. I just haven't decided how I want that all to work out. But I hope you enjoyed it for today. Again, I have a game with this little army or force, strike force, whatever you want to call it, on Saturday. So I will get my face stomped by James, I am sure, who is in the chat. But anywho, that is it for today. I hopefully will have them all painted up. There's probably like 2 hours worth of work for me to get them totally done. I can probably do that over the evenings until Friday, so not too concerned. But that is it for today. Thanks for hanging out. You may see me again later today. I have no idea, but that's pretty much it. So have a good one. Glad to see that the streaming is A-okay, and I will see you guys later.